Good morning, students. Today we learn about the light emitting diode. In previous lecture, we have seen the types of diode, that is conventional PN junction diode. Then after that, we have seen Zener diode, and in this lecture, we'll see light emitting diode. Now, before going towards today's TLO, we'll see some revision for previous diodes. So all of you know that PN junction diode is made up of P-type and N-type semiconductor, which is connected together. After connecting PN junction together, there is a formation of depletion layer, and if we want to conduct through the PN junction diode, our aim is to remove that depletion layer, and we have to do more recombination inside PN junction diode. So after recombination of holes and electrons from P and N type semiconductor, there is a possibility to flow of current, and after that the diode will conduct and produce large number of or large amount of current. So all of you know that the working construction of PN junction diode. Then after that we have seen the biasing of PN junction diode. So biasing of PN junction diode, in which diode how diode acts, how it is operates as a on switch in forward bias and off switch in reverse bias, we have seen. So accordingly we have used the diode as a on off switch, and that concept we have seen in rectifier also. So how diode conducts for positive half cycle, how it will remain off for negative half cycle. So this is the use of PN junction diode. It is used as a on switch, off switch, as well as it is used as a rectification process. So it is used as a in clipper circuit, clamper circuit. It is used as a rectification process. It is used as a switch. After that we have seen the use of Zener diode. So Zener diode is nothing but the reverse bias diode, or we can say that it is used as a voltage regulating device. So the drawback of PN junction diode we have overcome by designing a Zener diode. So what is the overcome of PN junction diode? So drawback of PN junction diode is it operates very roughly in reverse bias operation. We have seen that in reverse bias connection, whenever we increase large amount of voltage, then only small amount of current will flow through the diode. So this is the drawback of Zener diode. So this is a drawback of Zener diode, and PN junction diode, and we have increased some amount of doping in PN junction diode, so that we can increase the amount of minority charge carriers in while doing the construction of Zener diode. So when we do the construction of Zener diode, we have take care that the diode will operate very smoothly in reverse biasing conditions also. So in a reverse bias condition, the Zener diode will provide a smooth amount of current. So it is called as a reverse diode also. Then it is used as a voltage regulator. Voltage regulator means when we increase the voltage or some fluctuations is present in input side, though there is a fluctuations in input side, it will provide a constant output voltage, which is called as a voltage regulation. So it is done by Zener diode. So Zener diode is used as a voltage regulator. So we have seen the two types of diode. In today's lecture we'll see about light emitting diode. Now light emitting diode is basically used to emit the light. Whenever we bias PN junction diode or Zener diode, it produces some amount of potential difference and current inside it. So we'll get the voltage and current amount across these two diodes. But in light emitting diode, it will generate the voltage and current which is produced in the form of light. So whenever we bias LED, it will produces or emit light. That's why it is called as a light emitting diode. Now it is also PN junction diode. The construction inside it is also uh, done with the help of P and N type semiconductor, and its capability to emit light when it is forward bias. So if you see the nodes provided to you, then whenever we connect LED in forward biasing, that means positive supply of the battery is connected to anode of the cathode, and negative supply of the battery is connected to cathode of the diode. Then we say the LED is in forward bias. So when we increase the voltage across LED, it will starts emitting the light. Now on your screen you can see the construction of PN junction light emitting diode. So the material used in LED is first there is a P type and N type semiconductor is used, and uh, in inside between P type and N type semiconductor there is a active region. So active region is due to recombination of electrons and holes, and light emerges from this active region. So the special type of materials, that is gallium arsenide, gallium phosphide, gallium arsenide phosphide, is used in this active region, so that it will generate the light. Whenever it starts doing conduction, it will produces the light. And this active region is sliced between P type and N type region, and below N type region there is a substrate use. Means the whole assembly is laid on some surface which is called as a substrate. So terminal anode is connected to P type region, and terminal cathode is connected to substrate. So this is the construction which is shown in your slide, as well as it is given in your notes also, handwritten notes. Then principle of operation of LED. When LED is in forward bias, electrons from N region will cross the junction and recombine with the holes in P region. These electrons will jump in conduction band at higher energy level than the holes in valency band. So due to recombination of electrons and holes, these electrons return back to the valency band at lower energy level than conduction band. While returning back, these electrons will release excess energy in the form of light. This process is called as a electroluminescence. This is the principle of operation of LED. If you see the construction again, then you will come to know what is the conduction layer and what is the valency layer. So conduction means valency band, and conduction band means when electrons and electron holes recombination done, the recombinated particles are present in the valency band, and they have to jump towards the conduction band. So they have to cross some uh, barrier, or you can say the depletion layer between these two bands. So the travel from valency band to conduction band, the electrons will jump from valency band to conduction band, and after returning conduction band, it will release the light inside the LED. So this light will generated by the active layer, which is slide between P and N type junction. So why it immerses light? Because active region, as I said, it is made up of some light producing material like gallium arsenide, gallium phosphide, or gallium arsenide phosphide. So here a detailed construction of light emitting diode is also given. You can see that there is a reflector. A reflector means active region. A flat side LED shows that it is the cathode terminal. Long terminal is positive terminal, and inside construction is also given in your notes. Then the energy of light emitted by LED is given by E is equals to QV joules, where V is the velocity, or you can say that, V is the voltage required to produce the light, and Q is the electric charge of single electron. The values of electron charge is given to you. Then this is the equation how the emitted light produces energy. So this is the construction and working of LED. All of you might have seen the LEDs in different electronic devices like sensors, mobile, automotive uses LED signals, illumination, indications. Uh, in your remote control of television, you have seen there is a LED, and signals are coming from your LED, and it is going to your TV or set top box of TV. So it is nothing but the use of LED. Then the sensor application. In sensor application, LEDs are very useful. It is used in medical instrumentation, barcode readers, color and money sensor, encoders, optical switches, fiber optic communication. Then for mobile application, it is used in mobile phone, PDAs, digital cameras, laptops, general backlight. Then sign applications means full color video, monochrome message boards, traffic VMS, then transportation, passenger information. So these are the some sign applications. Then it is used for interior lighting, exterior lighting, truck bus lighting. Then signal applications for traffic, rail, aviation, tower lights, runway lights, emergency police vehicle lighting. Then illumination means in agriculture lighting, signage. Then machine vision, retail display, emergency lighting, neon display, bulb replacement, flashlight, outdoor accent lighting. Then general visual appear, reduce energy cost, increase attention caption, saving in maintenance and light replacement. Then indication devices, which is used in household appliances, VCR, DVDs, toys, games, instrumentation, security equipment, switches. These are the some colors which are available in LEDs, that is light orange, yellow, fluorescent, green, blue and white. It is depends upon the material which is used in construction of active region. Then also tricolor LEDs are also available. Bicolor LEDs are also available. The LED performance is based on color, white light, intensity, eye safety, visibility, operating life, voltage, design, current. So these are the some parameters of LED lights, which is not in our portion. Just go through it. Then you can see the pictures of some LEDs. The above pictures of LEDs which is used to display the numbers in digital circuits, and these are the some references for LEDs. So this is the last TLO of our chapter. So in that chapter, in the last TLO, we have seen the DC regulated power supply, or the process of DC regulation power supply. Previously we have seen the process, but we'll just go through how it is combinedly used as a DC power supply. So all of you know, this is the picture of AC signal, and with the help of rectifier and filter we have removed the AC parameters, which is called as a ripple, from this AC signal, and we have tried to produce a DC signal which is near about a straight DC line. So what is a DC power supply? All the electronic circuit need DC voltage for their operation, and the DC supply is derived from single phase AC main circuit. I have told you AC signal is naturally available for use, but we have to design a DC, or we have to derive DC signal from AC, which is available naturally to us. So we have also seen what is the difference between AC and DC signal. AC is alternating signal, which we have used in our day-to-day life. DC signal is a straight line signal. We have to design this DC signal, and as per our application, it will be possible to design from lower range to higher range. Then these are the some formulas we have seen how to take VRMS voltage, means root mean square voltage, from AC. Then this is the block diagram of a DC power supply. That means initially we have used a transformer. We have seen the use of transformer. That means a transformer is used to step down AC signal, because we doesn't require that much amount of AC signal which is available to us. That is 230 volt 50 hertz is not necessary for our application, and whatever amount is required, that is stepped down with the help of transformer. So transformer's function is to either step down or step up the AC signal, which is required for our applications. So here in block diagram, the 12 volt AC is stepped down with the help of transformer, and that AC voltage is given to rectifier. Now rectification means we have seen the different types of rectifier circuit, that is half wave, full wave center tap, and after that we have seen the bridge rectifiers. So the rectifier is used to produce pulsating DC from your AC voltage, right? So the rectification, all of you know how rectification is done. The step down transformer is used to reduce the AC main voltage to adequate small value. The turns ratio of transformer is adjusted to obtain step down AC voltage. This voltage is converted into pulsating DC voltage by rectifier, and rectifier may be half wave, full wave, or bridge rectifier. This pulsating DC voltage of rectifier is converted into ripple free steady state voltage by filter circuit, and the filter output voltage is very close to pure DC voltage. So this is the process which will happen inside a DC regulated power supply. So this is the picture of DC regulated power supply. Rectification is the process of converting uh, alternating voltage or current into corresponding direct quantity voltage. The input of rectifier to is alternating voltage, whereas its output is unidirectional or DC voltage. The electronic circuit which carries out a rectification is called as a rectifier. So these are the some pictures of DC regulated power supply. Here transformer will give you step down voltage. Then inside rectification is done, means conversion of AC into pulsating DC is done. Then it is given to filter. Filter will produce pure DC from pulsating DC. So these are the some DC regulated power supply which we have used in our laboratories, and construction or inside block diagram we have seen in our chapter. So this is the last point. We have completed second chapter. Please go through all the notes. If there is any doubt, please ask me.